finally, after many months, after so long, 1999 year in review comes to a conclusion. Finally, with Armageddon 1999 review. Thank God that the end is here. Armageddon 1999 was a very bad show. In the weeks leading up to Armageddon, there was a wedding, a big wedding, a very big wedding indeed between Test and Stephanie McMahon. Now, Test has been battling for Stephanie McMahon's love forever. He's been battling for the approval from Stephanie McMahon's family. He beat Shane McMahon at SummerSlam in a Love Her or Leave Her match. He's been battling, and finally, they have this wedding. And then all of a sudden, it gets ruined by Triple H, who claims that Stephanie has already been married. Stephanie is married to Triple H, and that this marriage, this wedding, is null and voided. So Triple H shows this video of Stephanie and him getting married at this little chapel. Of course, Stephanie is drugged up, but whatever. So here comes Armageddon. You'd think it'd be Triple H versus Test for the love of Stephanie. If Test wins, then the marriage is null and voided, and Test and Stephanie finally can get married. If Triple H wins, then Stephanie is Triple H's for life, or at least until they can get a divorce. I mean, in America, you can get a divorce, Stephanie. But of course, Test does not get into the main event picture. No, just like Survivor Series, where he should have been the man to be the champion, to be in the championship match. No, instead of facing Triple H here at Armageddon to get revenge for Triple H marrying Stephanie, instead they played Test off like Stephanie doesn't even remember him, and that Test doesn't even care anymore. And instead they have Vince McMahon face Triple H. For what reason? To get revenge on his daughter, on Triple H, his now son-in-law? Why? Why not Test? Test is 6'7", 300 plus pounds. Look at him. How is he not a main event player? Fucking tards. So there's Armageddon for you. We also had the Big Boss Man taking on the Big Show for the World Wrestling Federation Championship. Oh my God. So let's get to it. We had the Acolytes winning an 8-team Battle Royale match for the #1 contendership for the tag team titles. This was very boring and very terrible, like most Battle Royales. But this was just bad. Nothing of note to say. 2 out of 10. Next up, we have Kurt Angle defeating Steve Blackman in a bad match. 2 out of 10. Nothing else to say. Then we have Miss Kitty defeating Ivory, Jacqueline, and BB. And get this, everybody. An elimination evening gown swimming pool match for the Women's Championship. That's right. The object of the goal is to strip your opponent of their evening gown in a swimming pool, and that is how you capture the Women's Championship. And of course, Miss Kitty wins this, and if Miss Kitty won, she'd say she would strip naked, or in Southern accent, naked. So here's Miss Kitty. She wins after stripping her opponents in the horrendous match. Negative 2 out of 10. That's right, minus 2 out of 10. One of the worst matches of all time. Miss Kitty gets on the microphone and says, "I told you, if I win the Women's Championship, I come out stripping naked. Well, you're going to get it." So she takes off her top. And I'll be honest, when the WWE Network came out, this was, I shit you not, the very first thing I wanted to see. I wanted to see if Miss Kitty's boobies were uncensored. Now the network says it is uncensored. Well, guess what? It is not uncensored. That's right. They censored Miss Kitty's boobies. Yes, that's right. Even the network has Miss Kitty's boobs still censored. That pissed me off because that was the first thing I actually watched. So therefore, this gets a -2 out of 10. Just because it was just kind of stupid, really. I mean, here you have a swimming pool evening gown match for your women's championship. I mean, how much degrading do you have to be in your women's division? And then you have Miss Kitty go out there, strips, takes her top off. Sergeant Slaughter comes in with the towel, so you see her boobs for like 2 seconds. But it doesn't matter anyways, because it's blurred out anyways. Oh yeah, that's uncensored. Or that's censored, whatever. The network says it's uncensored, and it's censored. Fuck you. -2. Next up, we have the Hollies defeating Viscera and Rikishi, the man who ran down Steve Austin. I'll talk about that stupid storyline another time. 1 out of 10. Terrible match. Val Venus defeats the Bulldog D'Lo Brown in a triple threat match to capture the European Championship in a bad match. 2 out of 10. Next up, we have Kane defeating X-Pac in a steel cage match for their blow-off. Finally, their blow-off comes to an end. This rivalry was just dumb. I give it a 5 out of 10. It was just a stupid match. Actually, it was good. I meant the feud was stupid. Stupid feud. Tag team champions, and then they turned against each other. Then all of a sudden it gets be about Tori, who had no stardom whatsoever, who sucked. And quite frankly, Tori fucking was ugly. Just stupid. And eventually Tori turns her back on Kane. So it's like, why? And then we have Chris Jericho defeating Chyna to capture the Intercontinental Championship. And this is his very first of many, 9, to be exact, Intercontinental Championship reigns. This was a very, very good match. Just like their Survivor Series match, and just like their SmackDown match, this was very, very good. A 6 out of 10. Next up, we have the Rock and Sock Connection defeating the New Age Outlaws via disqualification. This would be the end of the Rock and Sock Connection. Mankind was very angry towards The Rock because he thought The Rock threw away his book. Well, apparently Al Snow threw away the book. Al Snow would come in and interfere in this match and cost Rock and Sock Connection the tag team belts. And I don't know what else I don't know what came out of this rivalry. In Mick Foley's book, second book, he wanted to turn heel and have one last heel run against The Rock and have one big feud, but unfortunately it just didn't work out because Mankind wasn't really a threat to The Rock. He was a joke to The Rock. He was just some little nerd who wanted to team up with The Rock. Hey, it's like when the nerd teams up with the jock in high school, or when the outsider teams up with a popular kid. That's it. You know what I'm saying? I give it a 4. Next up, we have the Big Show defeating the Big Boss Man to retain the World Wrestling Federation Heavyweight Championship belt in pretty much a squash match. 0 out of 10. The match was literally 3 minutes long. That's a title match. Come on. 0. Next up, we have the main event. We have Triple H defeating Vince McMahon in a no-holds-barred match. And just like many, many Vince McMahon matches, this is very, very entertaining. And even though I think this should have been Triple H versus Test, this was still a very good match. Test, of course, would not be the big main event player he should have been. Instead, he gets wasted away, teaming up with Albert, and managed by Trish Stratus in the next team called the TNA. Whatever. Anyway, Stephanie McMahon would turn against her father to join forces with Triple H. With that little perky smile, So apparently she liked getting drugged, and she likes being married to a man that drugged her and forced her to marry him. Wonderful. Yeah, that sends a good message to women, don't it? Anyways, Armageddon 1999 was a very poor show. The main event I give a 7 out of 10. It was a very, very good match. However, it should have been Test. Finally, I give this show a 2.7 out of 10. It is a very bad show. Not the worst of WWF in 99, but it's the second worst. Almost as bad as Survivor Series. Finally, the end is here. 1999 year in review is over. 1999 was terrible pay-per-view wise. I know as far as Raw and then when SmackDown came in, it was phenomenal. Nitro was still good in the beginning. Thunder sucked as always, but some shows were very good. Pay-per-view of the year was Spring Stampede. That was an incredible pay-per-view. The worst pay-per-view goes to Starrcade. The best WWF show goes to Backlash. And the worst WWF show goes to Survivor Series. Overall, 1999 was not very good. WCW's overall pay-per-view rating gets a 3, while the WWF does not get a full rating because No Mercy did not get rated. No Mercy I was having problems reviewing because for some weird reason it would not work on the network. I will eventually come back with that review. So 1999 is over, and as you can see, it fucking sucked. WrestleMania 15 fucking sucked. Survivor Series fucking sucked. Starrcade was terrible. Halloween Havoc was horrible. Bash at the Beach and fucking Road Wild was some of the worst shows I've ever seen. Thank God 1999's over. And I'm going to catch you next time for the next year in review. What's that going to be? It's going to be the year 2000. And you're going to see the good and the bad and the ugly. Because I am going to include ECW this time around. And I'm going to finally review the 2000 WCW reviews. That's right, the 2000 pay-per-views of WCW. As bad as some WCW shows in 1999 were, like Halloween Havoc and Starrcade were, they don't even come close to the terrible shows of New Blood Rising and, oh my God, Halloween Havoc 2000. Not to mention Uncensored and Great American Bash. WWF's 2000 was very good, but it also had some flaws too, like Rikishi running down Steve Austin. So what is left to say about 1999? Well, you had a lot of storylines, a lot of great storylines that just had no end, no conclusive end whatsoever. You had at King of the Ring, Steve Austin reaching for the briefcase, but it keeps on rising. Who was raising the briefcase? We never saw the end of that. Vince McMahon being the higher power of the Ministry of Darkness. We have the freaking Vince McMahon being a heel, then turning face, and then turning heel, and then joining forces with Triple H later on anyways. We have Stephanie McMahon being with Test, and then joining forces against her will, and then liking it with Triple H. Like, that makes fucking sense. 1999 sucked. Plain and simple. Catch you next time when I talk about 2000. Sold Out 2000 and the Royal Rumble 2000. Coming up next on Daniel Rock 08.